Morning, everybody. It's 8:10 a.m. June 30th, the last day of the month. Just got back from vacation. Welcome to my channel. Had basically summer trading until that one day on Friday. Had some volatility, consistently making all-time highs. Now this morning we're gapping up, and that's because Canada rescinded that. What was that? The digital. I wrote it and I can't even remember what it was. Hold on a sec. Digital service tax. So they got rid of that digital services tax, and the market like that because now that trade negotiations can continue with Canada. All right. Now today is the end of the month, I believe, an end of the quarter, and we have Chicago PMI at 9:45 a.m. today. Fed Bostic speaking at 10. All right. So it's a shortened week this week. Friday is closed because of 4th of July. The market's closed. But we do have non-farm payrolls, Jerome Powell speaking, and a bunch of stuff we'll get into in a little bit. Without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile, volume profile to find structure in the market, along with supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I look at the markets. I also use anchored VWAPs and market internals, which help me when the market opens to determine what I'm going to do. Okay, that's going to determine what I'm going to do. And I hope to share that with you every day. Now, if you'd like to join me, I do this every morning. All right, come join me, give you the market story, the lowdown, the market news, the economic calendar, leaders and laggards, just basically what the market's doing. Okay, also we get into some TA, that's technical analysis, and we go into long and short trade scenarios later on when I look at the ES and the Nasdaq futures. Okay, we come up with a game plan for today. Okay. Now, if you want to join me in my Discord server, all right, come join. It's just called Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link. Click on the link. I think I said the last time that I have my own app that generates gamma levels, and then that creates an indicator that lays them on my charts in Thinkorswim. So enough people join Discord, I'll start sharing those levels. You can see how the gamma levels work, and then if enough people join, I'll have a little tutorial on how I use them, okay, and how to apply them. So that's up to you guys, and you can join me today if you like, okay, if you like. All right, now let's get right into futures watch list here, and let's see what's moving markets. All right, so we got Bitcoin's up at 108. We have VIX up 4.53%. Ethereum's up 1.93, Nasdaq's up 0.62, Dow's up 0.56, Russell's up 0.53. The 30-year bonds being bought today, that should send years lower. That's up 0.44, ES up 0.42. Gold's up 0.16, dollars down 0.15, crude's down 0.21, silver's down 0.66. 10-year yield continues to fall, down 0.84. All right, moving on to the Max 7 Plus here. All right, we have Meta leading the pack, up 1.89%. Broadcom up 1.80. Google's up 1.47. Coinbase up 1.18. AMD keeps charging, up 0.76. All right, who's the laggard today? Tesla. Tesla is the laggard today. They are down 0.61. Top sectors. Let's just look at them real quick. Goldman Sachs up 3.37. I know the banks had a stress test and they're ready for an economic downturn. That's what at least Fed Jerome Powell said. Disney's up 1.69, and the laggard here is not really a laggard in this list. Moving on to the sectors. Sectors here. We got technology, which is the largest market cap weighted sector in the S&P 500. That is up 0.68. Huawei Communications up 0.67. Financials up 0.60. Semiconductors up 0.59. The lagging sector this morning is utilities. Down 0.41. That would be like your Duke Energy, your Nextera Energy. I can only assume probably they are down. One of them are. All right. Now, what brings us next is the economic calendar. Let's go there. Now, we'll look at real quickly this week. I already talked about this today, but you got Chicago PMI 945, Fed Bostic speaking at 10. It's probably going to make me a little cautious to put anything on. Probably wait till about 10:10, but then Fed Bostic speaking. Fed speakers besides Jerome Powell haven't really been moving the markets that much, but there's always a chance for that. You got Dallas Fed at 10:30, and this week Fed Chair Powell speaking tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. when the market opens. ISM tomorrow at 10 a.m. Joe's Jobs at 10 a.m. and another ISM at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Wednesday, you have 30-year mortgage, ADP employment changes, and Thursday, which is normally a Friday, you have non-farm payrolls and unemployment. Okay, with ISM as well. So services, ISM services on Thursday, and then Friday the market's closed, 4th of July. All right. Now, if we get into some news, let's look at the news. Here we got Nvidia stock rose 0.5, bouncing despite the FT reporting that investors sold more than $1 billion of company stock in the past 12 months. Tesla stock fell 0.6, with the EV manufacturer expected to unveil its second quarter delivery numbers on Wednesday as it grapples with flagging demand and controversy around the political stance of the CEO, Elon Musk. Now here, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo all rose at the Federal Reserve's annual stress test. Hyatt Hotel stock rose 0.5 after the hotel chain said it would sell the entirety of Playa Hotel's owned real estate portfolio to Tortuga Resorts for $2 billion. Stellantis stock fell 0.4 after the auto giant recalling 250,651 vehicles in the U.S. due to improperly sealed side curtain airbag. Walt Disney stock rose 2% after Jefferies upgraded its stance on the entertainment giant to a buy from hold. Oracle stock rose 1.9 after Stifel upgraded the software giant to a buy from hold. Okay, that's what's going on there. Let's go to a little more news here. Canada rescinds digital services tax to advance stalled U.S. trade talks. All right. Analysis. Let's see. Even as markets rally, Trump's policy making causes market angst. And then here it says Fed says banks can withstand economic downturn, clears way for dividend hikes. Um, let's see here. Let's see. Alphabet, OpenAI has recently begun renting Google's artificial intelligence chips to power ChatGPT and its other products. Like I said, I'm only going to mention here. Let's see. GE Vernova, the power equipment maker, is exploring the sale of its industrial software business. General Motors, the company, persuaded a federal appeals court on Friday to decertify a class action seeking to hold the automaker liable for knowingly selling the 800,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs with faulty transmissions. Wow. Let's see. Meta, the company is hiring 4 more OpenAI artificial intelligence researchers. All right. Let's see here. A couple price target here's our analyst stuff. Amazon.com, Bernstein raises target price to 235 from 230. Broadcom, Jeffrey raises target price to 315 from 300. All right. Walt Disney, Jeffrey raises rating to a buy from hold and price target to 144 from 100. Interesting because Disney was hurt for a while. All right. I think that's good there. As far as the juice, let's look here. There's nothing really going on besides Canada rescinding the digital services tax. So I'm just going to move on from there. And I think we're going to get right into daily charts. I think that's where we're going to go. In daily charts, there's not much to really see here other than we had that little breakout day, which is when I went on vacation. And then after that, you pretty much just been trending higher. Okay, pretty much just been trending higher. So here's the SPY. All right, so you can see this is the day that I went on vacation. And then you had like a day that you made a higher high. And then you just continued to go higher. And now we're gapping up. So you're talking about a gap up, one, two, three, four, and five with a gap up. Getting frothy, but momentum at all-time highs is always tough. Okay. So we closed at 614.91. We're at 617.50 right now. 617.50. You're up here right now. Right there. Let's look at futures. Get a better look. Now futures, I don't think we're at all-time highs yet. Nope. 62.77 is all-time highs in futures. We're not there yet. So in futures, we're not there yet, but just look at this. This was this day that you opened here, right? Ripped, and then just been bought. And the reason why this market pretty much is making such a big move is because of this really area here. You could even pull, I could even go all the way from back here. You pretty much move sideways for all this time. Didn't really move here. So if you go from here, right? Maybe not this candle per se because we didn't repeat it. Well, we did here. So say from this beginning, you opened here, right? And at one point, the market was here not too long ago, which is in the middle of this. So you just balance for a while, and the bigger the balance, the bigger the move. That's basically how that works, okay? So now you're just having trend continuation, basically, okay? And let's look at the Qs. Obviously, this is our daily charts here. So the Qs, and you can see this trend channel here. We're hitting it, but we're over it now, so it's probably not much consequence here. All right, so closed at 548. We are 551.50. 551.50. We're right here. Okay. Probably get rid of this now. And let's just look at futures. Now, in the NASDAQ futures, you are at all-time highs. Okay. So just, again, big balance. All this balance, right? All this balance. And then big move. No surprise here. I've been talking about that you're going to get a move. I didn't know how big, but I didn't know when it would happen, but it was going to be big when it happened. You just balance for so long, okay? And this is your futures, right? You're just moving and moving and moving, right? The last amount of shorts are covering, then momentum people who feel like they're missing the move are buying. So very interesting, right? So that's your NASDAQ futures. All right, now just real quick, I just want to put up here RSP, which is the equal weighted index, which is doesn't look. I just want to just show you. This is very good to see here. Okay, so this is RSP equal weighted. The all-time high is at 188. We are not by there. Notice where we are here. So that just shows you the overall breadth of the market isn't super strong. Like right here, we're not at all-time highs in RSP. So that just tells you that this is being moved by basically Mag 7 tech heavy stuff. Okay? But this also proves the point that the market moves by market cap. It doesn't matter that the overall market, which is this market, RSP, shows you if everything was equal, there was no market cap weight. This is what the market would look like. Right? We would not be at all-time highs right now. Okay? So just keep that in perspective. All right. The overall market, not everything is lifting everything, but market cap is all that matters. Hence why I use internals. Okay. Now we're gonna move over to that bond market, that triple-headed monster, and the yields have been falling. So staying to this little downtrend here, past the 200-day moving average, past the 2024 anchor, VWAP. Can we move the 4.13 yield? Maybe we can. Okay, maybe we can. Okay, we're getting some headway here. Now we got to really get out of this area because this is like just, it's just been trading in this range for a while. Okay. Now moving on to the dollar. That dollar, remember I said it's bottoming. Let's see, because it made an attempt, and now we're back down here again. I still think I still think this is a I still think we're going to get some type of rally. Let's see here. This really messes it up now because now it's a more uniform channel now, not a descending channel, descending wedge. All right, so we'll just have to keep my eye on that. All right, now VIX, VIX is 30 days out of fear. All right, let's look at this here. The VIX has really gotten crushed here. Even though the VIX was closed here on Friday, the VIX is elevated here at a 17 VIX, which is decent because a 16 VIX is a 1% expected move in the SP 500, plus or minus. Okay, and that's your VIX. Now we're gonna look at the hourly charts here, and now there's not much to glean on here. Let me pull them up. We'll go over them very briefly. Okay, because we're at all-time highs. Not in futures. Yes, futures. We're not yet. Okay. Let's just look at these together. All right, let me get my marker out. You can definitely tell it's summer trading here with some of this volume. All right, because you had crappy volume. You can see in here, this was okay. Then you had a nice volatile session on Friday, and then you can see that the candles are much smaller. All right. So this is a high volume node from the past. So that didn't really stop the market, but we're not really charging above it, which is no surprise. The one thing to note here is you do have this ascending wedge here, and I just put it, I'm not a big pattern guy, but I'm going to put it here. You can see that the resistance here is being honored here. All right, and then you have this trend here. You got 1, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. So once you get about 4 touches, for me, that's pretty good to have it up there. And basically, you can just see the momentum is slowing. It's compressing, not by tons, but I just have it on my charts to see it. All right, like I said, the more touches, the more confident I am to put it on there to see that it means something. Okay, that's basically it right now. We're just breaking out of this big balance area, and now what are we gonna do? Right? Like I said, we're gapping up. Now I'm not sure if we're. Let's see here. We closed. Yeah, we're still gapped. We're still gapped. So, but that's about it for the ES. Now for the Nasdaq, you have that trend channel as well, the ascending wedge. So you have nice touches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a bunch of touches, right? So that's barely been honored. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 touches here. So this is just showing slowing momentum, but it doesn't really compress all the way up to here. So I'm just, like I said, I just have it lightly on my charts. The Nasdaq is at all-time highs. You can see they're getting a bunch of resistance here. Probably due for some type of pullback. There's last week's highs. So, but that's really it there. There's not much to analyze there. All right. Moving on. We're going to move on now to market profile, volume profile. Now we're just going to go right into my workspace here and just check out and really just analyze this. Okay. Bring this down here. All right. All right. So that is an ugly looking profile. All right. So you have like multiple distributions here. Just shoot, shoot, shoot. And you notice that you're running out of participants going up higher. Okay, not much I can glean there. Is the most traded price of the week is 61.46 right down here. The market just needs to bring this up to kind of confirm the higher move to possibly move higher. Okay, so you can see you're kind of running out of participants, right? You can see it here. Doesn't mean a sell-off's coming. It could just mean we pull back a little bit. I'm not positive on what happens there. Okay. So one thing to note here is in the overnight, almost pretty much 100% net long, opened and all long. That even, and you're at the upper end of the session, that even gives me you might get a pullback. Okay. Might get a pullback. So you have a demand here. What's going to mark off some clear levels. Okay. So remember, in ES futures back at just the contracts, you are not at all-time highs. We can open this up a little more. Okay, you are not at all-time highs. So, but we have clear levels here to talk about. Okay, let's start off with the overnight lows. Okay, the overnight lows have a confluence low here, 6223. All right, lines up with the most traded price of Friday and the bottom of this demand and the close. Okay, so that could be a pullback point. Now, remember, we're gapping up, tiny gap up. Gap fills 62.39, happens to be last week's highs, and lines up with this demand zone. So that also could be a buy point. Okay, most traded price right now is 62.47 of the overnight. Overnight high is 62.55. You have a little bit of a supply here, so we're going to mark this off. All right. And we're going to mark off here. This demand zone. Okay, and we have a supply up here. Alrighty, now let's break out this profile. Let's see the price action. And we're going to get right into scenarios here. No time to waste. Alright, we're going to start with the bull case because they're in control. Alright, so price is right here. Okay, so 62.39 is last week's highs, which is the gap fill. So this is going to be very attractive for a pullback. So if we pull back into this demand zone and you hold it and you break those, overnight highs, all right, you're going to go work yourself into, this is about, let's just call it the 62.70 supply zone and see if you can work off and go up today. Now you're getting pretty frothy, but momentum is a beast when it is a beast. Okay. Now another thing that you could possibly have is a move up, break these overnight highs, pull back, break that demand. Okay. And then come into this. This is probably a possible decent long here. If you come into this confluence low, remember this confluence low includes the most traded price of Friday, overnight low, and the close from Friday in this demand zone. So if you come in higher lows, you could possibly work yourself up to this supply. Okay. That's what I like for longs. Obviously, if you dropped all the way down here, you probably bounce, but I don't know. Let me put this in here. Okay, because now that it's the end of the month. Now, one thing important with the end of the month is there's window dressing. Now, also, I believe it's the end of a quarter. So, window dressing. What does that mean? Funds, portfolio managers, at the end of the month, they like to have their portfolio look good. Okay, so that's window dressing. So, what could happen with that? All right, so in this scenario, let's just say the market rips, touches this demand, and say it's late in the day. and you're like, oh wow, you had finally had some selling. But towards that end of the day, 3 o'clock, 3:30, you could get a rip and rally towards the close. Okay. Now this could also happen. Let's just say, let's just say we do something like this, pull back, and then we're just bouncing in here. You could also rip up at the end of the day. This has happened pretty consistently, end of the month, end of the quarter. Okay. So I'm gonna really be cognizant. I usually don't like trading in the afternoon, but this is one of those days where it usually happens in the last hour. You see some type of, okay, there's a lot of volume coming in and buying coming in. Okay. So we just have to see. All right. That's window dressing. Now we're gonna go to a short side here. Okay. What do we have for you? So right off the bat, you do have a kind of a weak high. You could say this is weak high here. That's just because this high here has multiple touches of resistance. Okay. And you have a supply right here. So right now, what I could possibly see is, let's say we come up, break this. Now either we break it and fail and we start to fall, fill the gap, and come into here. That could be a nice trade just by itself. If you push down, you might get a nice move lower, right? Now, alternative to that is you push up, smack right into the 6270 supply, lower high, come down here, here. Okay, that's kind of what I would only be interested in, to be honest with you. All right, so that's your ES. We're going to talk about your NASDAQ now. Okay, now NASDAQ is stronger because tech's been moving the market, right? Remember, I just showed you the overall breadth of the market has not been that great. But it doesn't matter. That's not what moves the market. Okay. So now this profile has a bearish imbalance, believe it or not. Bearish imbalance. Look at this profile. See it? See that? Now I'm just this is just stating it. It doesn't mean we fall. But generally, see this bearish imbalance, you should have a profile that looks like that. That's incomplete to the downside. You can see why right here. Okay. Now, what have we been doing? Losing participants, right? Doesn't mean we can't go higher. It just means volumes, people are trading less and less, running out of participants. Okay. So that's just a little note. That's just a little note. Now again, we are 100% net long. We are trading at the most traded price right now, 22872 in the overnight. Okay, in the overnight. All right, so you have no supply overhead because we're at all-time highs. Okay, generally overnight high is an all-time high. It's not secure. We generally make all-time highs in real-time trading hours. Okay, real-time trading hours. Here's your last week's highs that you gap filled, 22823. So this is a key level. Gap fill demand zone, most traded price of Friday. Okay. You have the overnight lows, demand, and the close. And then you have a demand zone here at Friday's lows. Now, I'm just going to put a region here at the overnight highs, 22916, which makes it difficult to trade a short in the Nasdaq. Okay, just because there's no overhead supply, there's nothing there. There's no technical references besides the overnight high. Okay, so this is what makes shorting this difficult. Okay, now we're going to break it out just like that. All right, and we're going to get right into it. So let's go right into long and short trade scenarios in the Nasdaq. Okay, we're gonna look at the long side first. All right. Now price is right here. All right, you can see we just took out this support. Okay, and we have demand here. So right here, if you drop in, go to last week's highs. That's the actual Friday's highs as well. That is a gap fill. And in this case, you have the most traded price of Friday right here as well. This could be support, higher lows. You can really take out and start to run. How high? I don't know. Maybe to 230. Don't know. The next one, okay, even you can come up here, break the overnight highs, fall down right to the overnight lows in the Friday's close. Okay, also could be supportive and go higher. Okay, now yes, we could fall to Friday's lows. Okay, and you have almost like a double demand here, really. So maybe you get a buy here at the end of the month, towards the end of the day. If we're down here, you can get a rip and rally even down here, right? So end of the day, window dressing, end of the month, end of the quarter, you can get a nice buy at the end of the day. Okay, be cognizant of that because there's usually games, right? Window dressing's powerful and it usually plays out, like I said, in the last hour, last half hour of the trading session. Okay, now short side. This is a more difficult one. Okay, you do have this overnight high here. Okay, so what you could look at here, if you break this, the only way I have to look at this is if you get lower highs and maybe like a 30-minute close, lower highs. All right, maybe you could take this down and test the gap fill, this demand zone, last week's highs. Okay, and maybe you take out the overnight lows to here. Gravy on top would be to Friday's lows. And then, like I said, you might get the end of the month splurge up. Honestly, probably not looking at too much to the short side unless internal show me something different. But like I said, it's a difficult trade. All right, it's a very difficult trade. This is just a lot of demand here. The momentum's on with the buyers, so like I said, very difficult. Okay, that's gonna end it there for scenarios. Okay, now one thing I didn't show you guys last week and I forgot to was a daily chart. Well, let's go to the daily chart. This is the daily chart of the ES, and I didn't show you on this back adjusted contract that notice the 200-day moving average here was support. I forgot to mention this to you guys last week, but we bounced once, bounced again, and then we lifted off, broke the most traded price of this year, 60. I'm sorry, the rolling year 60, 63.50, and then we just ripped up. You can see all-time highs is right here. So we're not quite there yet, and there's a high volume node right here from all this trading volume, and we just have to see what happens. All right, I just wanted to show you guys that. All right, now hopefully you enjoy my content. Smash the like button, that would be much appreciated. All right, and as always, if you guys want to join me every morning, have a cup of coffee, water, and let me give you this market story, the leaders and the laggards, right? The news, economic calendar, all that jazz, along with daily chart analysis, and I just gave you the long and short trade scenarios. Okay, we got a plan today, and I'm not expecting much. It's a Monday, but we are very, very frothy, and it makes it a little difficult to trade it because you don't have resistance levels. In the ES you do, but the Nasdaq you don't, right? And you can have people getting FOMO and buying in, or funds or portfolio managers that didn't buy in, right? So it makes it a little difficult. Makes it a little difficult to trade. All right. Now, as always, I'm going to be in my Discord updating what I'm seeing real time. All right. So if you want to come join the community, Confluence Trading, go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link and join up. Like I said, if you want gamma levels, and I will share them with you. Okay. I'd like to have at least 10 people join this week, and then I'll share that indicator with you, make a video on how I use them, and you will see the power of having the gamma levels on your charts. That would include, just to let you guys know, gamma levels for the weekly expiries, the gamma levels for the monthly, and then you will get the gamma flip point for this week and for the month. Very powerful levels. They always get reactions. I wouldn't have them on my charts. Okay, so if you want me to share those levels, and you can put them on Thinkorswim, like I said, 10 people from today, if I get that, I will do a video and let me know if you're interested in the gamma levels. Okay, all right, everybody, have a great day. Okay, have a great day. If I don't see you in my Discord room, I will see you tomorrow morning. All right, everybody, have a great day.